Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. For me, it's Thursday, September the 7th, day 661. I'm sorry, day 561 of Russia's brutal war against the people of Ukraine. And I say it like that because that's what it is. It's a war against the people of Ukraine. We saw all winter long the Russians hammer the civilian energy infrastructure in an effort to cow these people into submission. That failed. Just this morning, we saw 25 Shahed drones come in, all shot down. 100%. The boys in territorial defense are something else, aren't they, folks? I'll tell you, 100% takedown this morning, for which those of us who are guarded in our sleep by these folks are extremely grateful. Because we're the targets. I'm a civilian. I'm in Kyiv. I'm not associated with any military group. I have no military background. I do not carry a weapon. But I'm as much a target of these drone strikes as anybody else here. Or as much as these folks. The 17 folks that were out shopping yesterday and got hit by a Russian missile. 17 folks that did not make it home. Another 54 are in the hospital. At last count, that's the latest count I have. Now, the Russians want to say no, that the Ukrainians did this themselves, that the Ukrainians targeted these Ukrainians in order to make them look bad. Well, I'll tell you something. I don't think Russia needs any help making itself look bad. They're doing just fine all on their own. And as far as this being a Ukrainian on Ukrainian attack, this is nonsense of the worst sort. The Ukrainians do everything they can to preserve life. Everything they can. We do not see the same from the Russians. Now, it's a war. Mistakes happen, God knows. But what's more likely? That a Ukrainian missile, a harm missile no less, went astray and hit this market, or that a Russian artillery brigade that is within firing range of this town, that is just southeast of the position of this town, and that has a history of shelling this town and civilian targets in it, did it again. Reports from eyewitnesses say that the missile came in from a trajectory to the southeast. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you know, I couldn't even believe it. I saw an American Kremlin shill on here talking about how the Ukrainians target their own people, target civilians. I don't know how these people live with themselves saying such things. First of all, what kind of an American is an apologist for Russia, our longest, deepest standing enemy? I grew up in fear of Russian nukes like it was my worst nightmare. We see what the Kremlin does. We see how they lie. We have the evidence from Bucha and 100,000 other sites, literally. Documentation of 100,000 war crimes against civilians by the Russian forces in Ukraine. And you're going to try to tell me that this was a Ukrainian on Ukrainian false flag attack? They just offed their own people. Guys, there's two ways to be fooled in this world. One is to believe lies. And the other is fail to believe the truth. Truth is a real thing. It's independent and objective. Russia and the United States are not the same. Russia and Ukraine are not the same. They are ideologically opposed forces in the world. And for those of us paying attention, we understand that under one, you get a good quality of life, and under the other, 20% of the population don't have an indoor toilet because the people at the top steal everything for themselves and lie to you about why you're in the situation you're in. Outrageous. It cannot be allowed.